Hey everybody, my name is Jim Farmer. I am the festival director of Out on Film, Atlanta's LGBTQ film festival. I'm also an arts reporter for many outlets in here, including Georgia Voice and Arts ATL. I'm very, very excited to be talking to Emerson Collins and McIver, who are bringing their show, I Dreamed a Dreamgirl, to Atlanta on August the 6th. The show will be here at Outfront Theater Company at 8 o'clock on Saturday at 8 p.m. I'm very, very excited. So it's always nice talking to you, Emerson. Blake, I've never officially met you, so
nice. It's nice to officially meet you.
Here. Well, first of all, just tell me a little bit about the decision to take this show on the road.
Absolutely. This show, I Dreamed a Dreamgirl, actually started as a joke about 8.5 years ago. Yeah. We had never sung together, and we were joking about our sort of disparate musical styles and tastes.
Yes.
And vocal production, as it were. And we thought, what could a show be called if we ever had to do a show together? And the title I Dreamed a Dreamgirl came out, and we've been laughing about it ever since, because Emerson is very much a Les Mis.
Let's be real. I sing a little bit like Diet Josh Groban.
And I grew up in a gospel pop recording world, and so I jokingly say in the show some of my earliest vocal inspirations were the muses from Disney's Hercules. So, so I'm a dream girl. He's a I Dreamed a Dream.
Correct.
Thus we have a show.
And where it came from, early on in the lockdowns at the beginning of the pandemic, the Public Theater of San Antonio reached out to us and said, have you guys ever done a show together? Would you be willing to do a live stream show for our subscribers? I mean, we're talking very early April, May in the process when people were just getting started to do that. And we said, we haven't, and we'd love to. And also we have nothing but time. So we sat down and the joke came back up. We're like, what do we call it? Let's use that title. And then we sat and said, okay, can we actually make that number work? Can we make it where I sing I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis while you sing the title track from Dreamgirls? And the combination of like cabin fever and lunacy led us to the opening number of the show. Really is that I sing Les Mis, he sings Dreamgirls, and it's mashed up in a way that should be, and is turning out to be, as we're doing the show, rather hilarious. But at the beginning, we had no idea. Just like live stream out to an audience, no applause, going, did that work? Did y'all like that?
The opening number sounds like the gayest thing ever.
Pretty much, yeah.
It definitely speaks to a, shall we say, camp aesthetic.
Carry that.
And so we did that show, and then we did some for a number of other theaters, and then it honestly became a great coping mechanism for we're sitting at home with little to do. We did a number of other live stream shows. We did a Halloween show called Once Upon a Lockdown. We did a Christmas show called Have Yourself a Merry Little Lockdown. Because it gave us a way to have something productive to do in the afternoons, building medleys and mashups and creating harmonies that in real life, we would never have time to spend that much devoted time working on a show. You go, oh, here's 12 songs. That'll be a cute show. Great. We'll do it on Tuesday.
And when the world started to open up again, we suddenly had all of this material. So this tour is pretty much the greatest hits of all of those lockdown shows. Okay. In a sort of loose narrative.
So it sounds like there are plenty of numbers, but there's also a little bit of storytelling as well.
Absolutely. We tell our own stories, a few anecdotes from our careers, both separately and together.
Yes, and sort of unvarnished. You know, we said there's a lot of sort of presentational aspect to cabaret, one-person-y shows, and this is not that. This is us saying, let's have a good time, let's have joy together. The world is awful. We're fighting on so many fronts, on so many issues, that having things that we can do to sort of refill with each other is also important, because we're fighting a war, not a battle. So this is not meant to create deep perspective changing theater. This is meant to be a raucously silly and fun good time, because through the course of the show, we sing all or part of 49 different songs in 90 minutes. Like when I say that the mashups and medleys, I mean, it's Disney, standards, pop. We managed to shoehorn 16 bars of Britney Spears into a place that it does not belong. We found, and And then really looking at our careers, you know, Blake doing The Little Rascals and Full House and winning Star Search. And then with my stuff with Dell, with Sordid Lives and Southern Baptist Sissies and Rent, we found fun ways into doing music that relates to those things that is also fun for us. So we said, look, small theater, small everything, you know, film festivals, queer film, niche markets, it's always hard. And so we said, we don't want to do anything in the show that we don't absolutely love, so that if only 5 people came, we'd still be having a great time. Also, please, more than 5 people come.
So obviously, I don't want you to spoil the song list, all 40 numbers, but can you tell us a little bit some of the others? You mentioned Britney. What Britney numbers do you cover?
There's literally, that one arrives in a giant medley that closes the show. So we'll leave her for a special moment. But I can also say that, you know, we've done. Lots of people know us from the People's Couch, the reality show that we do at Bravo. That's the only other thing we've done together besides the show, despite directing separately, producing separately, writing separately. So to celebrate and acknowledge that portion of our career, we took 16 TV theme songs and turned them into a 6-minute medley of nonsense.
This really is the gayest show I've ever heard of. That sounds extraordinary.
Yes.
So this is still pretty new. This, I think Atlanta will be your 5th city, your 4th city.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, and of course, the Out on Film audience knows I've been really fortunate to travel a lot with my film work, and I've been to many cities and film festivals. And so when we sat down to do this, we said, okay, if we could get 5 theaters somewhere interested, that would feel like a fun little tour, a good launch for us. And literally this morning, I'm confirming the 10th city that's actually arriving. We're going to be in Columbia, South Carolina, 5 days after y'all now. They just came on board. So the response has been really overwhelming and really positive. We opened it in Palm Springs 3 weeks ago. We just got back from Dallas with Uptown Players there. And so we're doing a lot of queer theater companies, LGBTQ affirming venues, to sort of continue to support and celebrate also the venues that we know and love that are also having the hardest time coming back to life and continuing. And so then we've got a bunch of cities that we'll be looking at for like November, December, January as well. So it's going better than I guess my imposter syndrome self could have hoped.
That's great. So since this is a fairly new show, I mean, are you tweaking it as you go? Or are you like making changes? So, how is that working for you?
We started with a test run in LA for our friends and family, who you would think like friends and family, supportive audience. No, our friends and family, toughest critics on the planet. So we thought if they like it, if they have a good time, because they know our nonsense, they know our jokes, they know our stories, so they're not inclined to react, you know, as much as someone who's meeting us for the first time. And when they stood on their feet halfway through the show, we thought, okay, I think we have a few good things here.
Yeah. Our Act 1 closing number got its own standing ovation at the first trial run. And that was where I sort of went, oh, they're not just clapping because they love us and they have to be here. This is a real reaction. And the best test, one of my very best friends in the whole world is a stand-up comedian who loudly proclaims he hates musicals. That's not for me. And during that first preview show, he kept turning to 2 of our other friends and going, I'm having such a great time, in that weird way where the surprise was a compliment. So it's been really rewarding to find. And in Palm Springs, several people said, I didn't know almost anything you sang tonight. Don't worry, there's a rainbow medley. There is something for everybody. And they said, and we had the greatest time. So we feel really great that it's entertaining, whether you're a deep musical theater lover who knows intimately the scores of Aida and Chess, or if you're just like, sure, Somewhere Over the Rainbow is a song that I have heard that everyone's enjoying.
Did you mention Aida?
Oh, yes.
Oh, there's an Aida moment.
Oh my God.
One of my favorite shows, so I can't not reference it.
Aida is so underrated. As I adore that show and the soundtrack. And of course, yes. I can't think of the name of it, but the number that Sherry Renee,
My Strongest Suit, one of the greatest.
God.
Well, and you know, Aida started right there in Atlanta. You have Atlanta to thank for Aida.
I saw the original version, you know, with the pyramid,
the pyramid,
and you know, and the thing is though, but I still love the music, and I just I love that show. So
So great.
Right.
But yeah, so whatever you love, in 49 songs, there's something for everyone.
There's at least one in
like
there.
an entire medley devoted to the Disney villains. Like this is just us at our most unabashedly fangirly, campy fun.
That's great. So now, how long have you two been together?
Almost 8.5 years, almost 9 in November,
Wow.
December.
So what is the trick of working together and getting through, when you're so tied together, personally and professionally?
What's kind of great about this show and this tour is we sort of divide and conquer on this, and then come together for the actual performances. So I made it my job to do all the music and all of the editing and getting all of the audio files together and creating and crafting all of the medleys that we had the ideas to do. And that's that I kind of stayed in my lane, and then
the artistic lane. And then the blessing of, all of the other things I've done is that all of the producing I've done for all of our films and projects and tours. And so I'm handling all of the tickets, the marketing, dealing with the venues, the contracts, the travel, all of the publicity, all of those pieces. So we divide the work so that then as we meet to do the show, we meet there, on the stage to go, okay, great. Now none of that matters, and let's just have fun doing a show. And building it together, working together can be a challenge, but because we were building during the lockdowns where doing anything else wasn't even an option, it weirdly didn't even have the same frustration it might normally have, because it was like, this is something we can do that isn't just binge watch 9 episodes of Outlander on Stars tonight, which we did after working on the show.
That later.
Yeah. Both of you have been in the industry for a long time. Can you talk a little bit about your longevity and how you've had to adapt over the years? I mean, like COVID is an obvious example, but I mean, in terms of just maintaining a long career, how have you had to work to adapt and just roll with the punches and learn to do new things?
Absolutely. I mean, that's sort of been a recurring theme in my life. I started working in 1990. So my peer group of people that started on TV in that same era are much older than me, and so I've always tried to learn from people that are more seasoned and more talented. And I like to be the least intelligent and the least talented person in the room, and that always keeps me pivoting and learning and growing and changing. And my career's taken me from film and TV to theater to voiceover to directing to producing to private vocal coaching. I do all sorts of things. So yeah, it's the artist life is definitely for the lucky few, they can stay in one lane and do their gig their whole life. But for most of us, we got to constantly be adapting and changing and learning new things.
And for me, it's similar, because like real honest always, right? I've always been very forthright about, if someone hired me to be a series regular on a show for 7 seasons, I would say yes, thank you so much, I'm on my way. I will just produce stuff in my hiatus in the summer. But until that day comes, finding projects we're passionate about, nothing I've done has ever made money. Instead, all of our wonderful film projects that I love, that I'm really passionate about the issues about, but starting as an actor, becoming a producer, making the work that you want to be. A Very Sordid Wedding, I spent 3 years producing that movie so I could act for 3.5 days with Leslie Jordan. You make the opportunities. If there isn't one, then you build it and you create it. And this is just a new extension of that also for me is stepping out a little bit and going, okay, so I don't have Caroline Rhea or Leslie Jordan or Olivia Newton-John or one of our big names to push in front of you. We're enough. We're doing the thing. And he's being modest. I mean, literally in the fall, he was directing the Light in the Piazza at the University of Mississippi as a guest artist. You sort of just spread yourself to the opportunities as they arrive.
Yeah, Blake, you've been in the industry literally your entire life. I mean, how long? I mean, literally. I mean, when did you know that you really wanted to make this your career and you wanted to?
I knew from the time I was very little that I wanted to dance and sing, and so my mom, being in the entertainment industry herself, put me in dance class and singing lessons, and was very encouraging about me getting training. But when I got plucked out of literally a dance recital in the San Fernando Valley to audition for Star Search. That it kind of took off without, and my parents kind of went, whoa, wait, we didn't sign up for this. My dad was a studio executive. My mom danced in variety television and was an actress. And they were like, no, we don't need you to have a career right now. And I kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and one thing led to another. I actually got Full House out of Star Search. The writers saw me on Star Search and wrote that first Yankee Doodle episode, kind of inspired by one of the medleys that I did on Star Search. And everything just sort of grew out of that.
Also, it's worth inserting because like LA life is so different. His dance teacher was Patrick Swayze's mother.
That's true.
Okay.
And
That's
his
true.
mother was a dancer on the Dean Martin show as one of his gold diggers. And she did the USO tours with Bob Hope. And so it's very funny that they were like, you don't need to do this. You know, they were sort of the opposite of the stage parents of like, are you really sure? Because they're wonderful.
Yeah, after every audition, it was like, you can stop now if you want to.
Bless you. So I have to ask you, Emerson, about doing Rent on TV.
Yes.
What was that experience like?
Well, it's funny because it also speaks to the like, what are we willing to do? What are the in the pieces of my story? When we released A Very Sordid Wedding, Del and I went to 45 cities to do opening nights, premieres, Q&As, VIP parties, anything to get the movie out there. As a producer, I did not pay myself well enough through that process so that I could pay money back to our investors. So at the end of that journey, I started driving for Lyft in the mornings and at nights so Del and I could work during the evening. It's relevant because 7 months later, I get an audition notification from my manager. You have an audition for a featured role in Rent. And I sped read it and was like, I don't really want to be like the drug guy in the Santa Monica Community College, production of Rent. And she's like, no, this is for Fox. And then I thought, oh, well, that's even sillier. There is no way that I'm getting this. I can name 30 guys on Broadway that I know today who could do this. So I went to the first audition and listened to like 5 guys just sing Gloriously Beautiful. And I was like, yeah, it could be anyone here. So whatever. The casting associate was really lovely. And he was like, I love The People's Couch. And I was like, that's why I'm here. And so I sang, thought nothing else of it. A week later, get a call to come to a callback. And I was like, there's going to be lots of rounds of this, I'm sure. And it was just me, that associate, and Michael Greif, the director, who directed the original production of Rent in 1996 with Jonathan Larson. He built the show and also directed our live version. And so we had a wonderful time in the callback. He was really lovely about what he wanted to do with this role that I did play. Steve in the AIDS support group that sings the Will I number, he talked about how there's a new generation of kids who will see this, who were either very young or not alive when Rent came out, much less when the AIDS crisis was at its height. Mm-hmm. And I really want to make this really impactful. And so getting to actually do it, and the sidebar, I was driving my Lyft car when I got the text message from my manager that I had gotten the role. And so I've got this girl in the car that I've got to drive 25 minutes to Tarzana. And so I tell this girl that I will never see again, that I've just been cast on the show because I can't tell anyone else till I drop her off. And so actually doing the show was glorious. I'm exactly the age where Rent came out in middle school, high school, and affirmed for so many of us who love musicals that they could be cool. It's not all Oklahoma. So getting to be a part of telling that story, and the ensemble was truly wonderful. And I hadn't done a musical in 10 years, and suddenly here I am doing this. So it was a very special and exciting surprise turn in my career, and also really lovely to show up on a set that somebody else was responsible for a little while.
Exactly. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So Blake, have you worked much in Atlanta?
No, I actually haven't. I've been remotely worked in Atlanta on a few productions, but no, I'm very excited to come and do something in person for the first time.
Nice. I mean, Emerson, obviously you and Dale, have been to Atlanta many times.
Anytime you've let us come to the festival, we come. And of course, we shot our entire Blues for Willadine, our movie with Beth Grant, Octavia Spencer, and Dale Dickey. We shot it in Atlanta. So we lived in Buckhead for 3 months and shot at a trailer park down south. So I have spent good and intimate amounts of time in Atlanta, and it's very exciting to be able to come back.
So that was my last question. Just talk a little bit about you know, obviously Emerson, you coming back to Atlanta, Blake, you experiencing Atlanta. I mean, what do you look forward to about coming to Atlanta?
So it's funny, the best friend, the one that like hates musicals, he and his boyfriend are coming, and the boyfriend is from Atlanta. And so we're doing the show Saturday night, and then I have a full day Sunday planned of like the aquarium and dinner and hitting Blake's because they've never been. And
I mean, I have to go to Blake's, right? Because it's
Blake at Blake's.
I have to at
He's
least
never
get
been.
the photo.
RIP Swinging Richards. But our other one, being Bravo Superfans, is we're definitely going to have a meal at OLG, the Old Lady Gang restaurant that's Candice from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, because we can't not do that.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So anyway, okay, so the show is I Dreamed a Dream Girl.
Yes.
Be at Outfront Theater Company on Saturday, August the 6th at 8 p.m.
Yes.
Emerson and Blake will be there singing Aida and show tunes and telling stories and having a merry gay time. I'm looking forward to this. Thanks so much for talking to me, and we'll see y'all soon.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks so much.